Hello, this is Alan Armijo from Tech International. We're having this webinar for NTA for lane schooling. We'll give it a few more minutes before we start the program, give people a chance to log in and make sure they can hear us okay. This is Alan again, just letting you know we'll be starting in about 3 minutes. Our presentation for NTA. Hopefully you're able to hear us okay. Our audience should be on listen-only mode. We'll start our presentation here shortly. Well, it's 11 a.m. Pacific time. Welcome to our North American Transportation, our first webinar in a series. This one specifically with marketing and email marketing. My name is Alan Armijo. I am the webmaster and a marketing professional for North American Transportation. Today, our presentation, we'll have Wayne speaking, introducing NTA, talking a little bit about marketing. We're lucky to have Israel Serna from Constant Contact, professional, an expert in email marketing with Constant Contact. And I'll come back on and talk a little bit about how we specifically work with NTA in email marketing and tips for transportation businesses that will apply to your business. Finally, we have time for questions and answers. Israel, you want to explain how the Q&A would work as people kind of formulate their questions?
Sure. Thank you, Alan. So if you take a look at your right-hand sidebar menu, you're going to find a place down where there is a Q&A or a questions box. Go ahead and enter your questions there as we start the presentations, and we're going to address them at the end. And so if you actually, in order for us to test that out to make sure that you know where they are, why don't you go ahead and type out your name and what city you're joining us from, just so that we could see that you can locate it. Okay, hopefully you can find that area.
Did you get some response there?
No responses yet, so I'm hoping that it's there. So if you I guess we can move on with the presentation, but if you have questions, go ahead and type them in that section box. And if not, let's see here. It should be enabled, so.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's coming in.
Okay, good. As more people come in, we can maybe remind them about that. But let's go ahead and get started with our presentation, starting with Wayne Schooling, owner of North American Transportation. How are you doing, Wayne?
Fine, thank you, Alan. Well, my name is Wayne Schooling, and I am president and CEO of North American Transportation Association. I've been in trucking for well over 50 years. Been there, done that on everything that you can possibly think of. Started as a bobtail driver. Worked my way up at Pacific Intermountain Express, by the way. Worked my way up through the ranks and went from trucking company to trucking company and finally wound up at the California Trucking Association. And then from there, I came over here to this company, and I've been here for about 25 years. I think they've been around for 27, something like that, 27, 28. We started marketing right off the bat because we were basically a Southern California association back then. And more people from out of state started wanting to join, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense because our name back then was Southern California Owner Operators Consortium. So I changed the name in 90, I believe it was, and took it nationwide, and here we go. So, at the beginning, of course, trying to get your name out there, we were going to various little truck shows with the little pop-up and, the little table sitting out there and outside at all the outside truck shows. From there, we started going to some of the inside shows. Go ahead to the next slide there, Alan. Like this is the ITS show in Pomona, California. In 91, this is my group when I was at California Cartage Company. I ran that outfit for quite some time. They had a registration program, and we won that hands down. In fact, I don't believe that while ITS around since 91, they've never had that show again, or in other words, that championship contest. We've even go ahead to the next slide, Alan. The as far as marketing is concerned, I paid buku dollars to have this truck show up at the Fairplex in Pomona from the U.S. Department of Transportation. So when I say that I've been there, done that, and tried it, I'm telling you that we've spent buku dollars, and that's what I want to talk about, is how much money it costs to market yourself out there. We were spending, just in postage, about $500 a week, just in postage for mail-outs. So you can see what that would quickly add up to. Plus, we were having, a graphics company do brochures. You had to, send it over to the printing outfit. They had that printed up. I spent a ton of money. And of course, I've even had commercials on TV. Believe it or not, you can get a lot of $5 commercials at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. But those are all relative to small areas. In other words, your mailings only can go out to just so many people, because let's face it, you want to send out one mailer, it's going to cost you at least $1, and that's just in the stamp and the envelope and maybe a little flyer. But I have found that using Google ads as well as Constant Contact. Now, I started using Alan around 2010, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, but I tried it, Constant Contact, on my own, and it was just a little bit too much for me to keep up on a daily basis or a weekly basis of writing articles, and plus, handling the day-to-day operations of everything else. So we have since gone to, Constant Contact, which is, I really have to say, is the Rolls Royce of marketing. You can hit so many more people for so less money that is just unbelievable. My monthly bill at Constant Contact is less than 1 week's worth of mailing that I used to do. And I'm hitting over 70,000 mailers or emails. And I can do that every day if I wanted to, without any further cost. So it is, it is the best thing that I can think of. And especially, when you have to get the word out about your association and keep everybody updated. There was an article that just came out just this week that California, for instance, is the worst state for trucking. It just gets harder and harder to keep the people in transportation aware of all the regulations that they need. And we cater to the small to medium trucking companies, because they're the ones that we feel need the most help, because they can't afford to hire, a safety director who is only a safety director for, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. Generally speaking, the safety director is usually the dispatcher and has maybe a couple other jobs too. So we pride ourselves in helping the little guys stay afloat and keep aware. We like to present ourselves as our members are like the cog in the center of a wagon wheel, and every spoke that goes out to the outer wheel is a benefit or service that we can offer. So in other words, with our membership being in the middle, he or she can make one call and get the right information, or if we don't have it right at our fingertips, give me 10 minutes, and I'll get back to you with an email of where to go to, get the information that you need. And that's what we pride ourselves on doing, because the regulations are constantly changing. Anyone in transportation nowadays is going to have to deal with anywhere from 17 to 20 different state or federal agencies while they're in the transportation business. You've got to, be an HR professional, because there's been changes to the applications. There are certain questions you cannot ask anymore that you used to be able to. There are certain things that you cannot incorporate into your application. It has to be on a separate piece of paper. So, this is the best way to communicate to people in the most cost-effective way. I mean, if you were to put 10 of these programs together and put a palomino in the middle, which in this case would be Constant Contact. I mean, Constant Contact would just stand right out. This is what the people are going to be looking at. I don't know how much more I can add to this, Alan.
Well, I have a quick question for you, Wayne. As an example, knowing that, because I handle all your email campaigns for you, and I see like how well a breaking news article, when you have, like you said, information that goes out, and that information is timely, and it's informational for your association members and the people reading your newsletters. But from that's really a benefit. But what about, like, how do you see, or when we use Constant Contact and email marketing for things like occupational accident insurance and business loans and things that kind of generate revenue directly back toward the association, new members, things like that? How has it been helping, or how should people apply marketing in that regard to their business?
Well, let's take the loan program that we started back in May 19th, I believe it was, of last year. That has gone over so well that just in this, not less than a year here, we have processed over $12 million in loan applications. And that's, like 10,000 here, 20,000 there. That's a lot of loans. And we're trying to, help as many small to medium companies as we can. And it's not necessarily trucking. As long as it's a business, we can help. But there are days that I can't keep up with the phone calls. Literally. It's a good thing that they're automatically recorded, because sometimes they come in every 2 minutes. So it's been a magnificent help to that. As far as the occupational accident, I can't say enough about that. January was probably our biggest month. We had about 163 new policies issued. Right now we're averaging about almost 3 policies a day on the occupational accident. And I don't think some insurance companies can do as good as that. And I owe it all to the website, some Google AdWords, yes, and the Constant Contact to get the word out. Our program has gotten so large that the insurance underwriter, Great American, we're above them on the website. So if you would Google like occupational accident, we're going to come up number 1, and Great American even comes up number 2, and that's who we're selling. Our ocac.biz website is just unbelievable with everything there. So I am just tickled pink with the with the results, and that's what counts. I'm not talking about looky-loos that just look at your site and go on. This is down to earth, cold hard cash money coming in. These are customers. That's 3 a day, and you can't beat that.
Right. So, and that's the reason we wanted to share this information. And we're lucky to have Israel Serna, who can tell us a little bit more about the email marketing itself. But thanks, Wayne. Thank you for that introduction and insight into NTA and how the marketing works for you. So let me switch this over to Israel so he can kind of tell us. Did you get that okay, Israel?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you. First of all, thank you, Wayne, for inviting me to today's webinar, and Alan for organizing. For us at Constant Contact, it's important for us to get in front of entrepreneurs, small business owners like yourselves, because we like to say that as much as we love email marketing and believe in it, we know that it doesn't start and end with email marketing. We are part of a larger picture that's called digital marketing and online marketing. And so for us, it's important to continue to educate small business owners and our customers on email marketing and just best practices as evolve. And so today, Alan invited me and Wayne invited me to come and speak with you and share with you some insights into what email marketing looks like today. So before I do that, just real quickly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Israel Serna, and as Alan mentioned, I am part of the Constant Contact team. I have the fortune of being able to oversee the educational program in the Southern California, Arizona, and Las Vegas markets. So very much like the presentation you're going to see today, we do this throughout these regions. And they extend much more than just email marketing. We talk a lot about SEO, web design, PR, that sort of thing. So today, as you listen in and as you listen to what Wayne just had to say a few moments ago, I want to remind you that sometimes it's important as a small business owner to pause and think of yourself as a marketer, right? So we are really good about wearing the CEO hat and wearing the HR hat when we need to, and the accountant hat when we need to. And so it's important for you as a small business owner and entrepreneur for you to also think yourself as a marketer. So I like to tell people, to take a few minutes out of your week, schedule out an hour to start, and think about, where am I going to take my business? How am I going to market it? How are people going to learn about my services? So today, I invite you to put on that marketing hat, and as you listen in, think about how you can apply this to your small business. All right, so before we get started, so that we all get a better understanding of who's in the audience, I'd love to ask a poll question, which should appear on your screens. If you can just take a few minutes to go ahead and answer that. Let me see here. So we'd love to know how many of you are actually doing email marketing now, and if you are with the email marketing service. So if you can take a few minutes to take that poll, we would greatly appreciate it. It's going to help us really kind of tailor this presentation to your needs. So, okay, so looks like most of you are already using Constant Contact, or those of you who have taken the poll. This is great. Thank you for being a customer. Hopefully you'll get some helpful tips on your email marketing with this presentation. Anybody else want to vote before I go ahead and close it? Let's give it a couple more seconds. Okay, so it looks like about 50% of the people here are already using Constant Contact. So this is good. You're heading in the right direction with by doing email marketing. For those of you who didn't take the poll, hopefully, if you aren't using it, hopefully this presentation will motivate you to start. So let me kind of kick things off by asking, or just kind of having you think about something that I learned early on as an adult and even as a teenager. And I remember even my parents telling me how important first impressions were, right? So when you prepared for interviews or when you met your teachers for the first time, you know, as entrepreneurs, when you meet your customers for the first time, you know, this is an important message to remember, is that first impressions matter. So when it comes to email, we like to think about this the same way. So on your screens right now, you're going to see, on the example to the left, you're going to see something that I was guilty of for many years, which was how I used to send my email announcements. So I used to go to my Gmail account and draft an email, either promoting an event or a promotion that I was offering, and I would BCC everyone on my contact list, right? And I would send out the email. And so, you know, there's a lot of us that were guilty of that because, you know, back then we didn't have the resources that we do now. But, you know, the important thing to know is that email has evolved tremendously. And so through services like Constant Contact, you're now able to draft email campaigns that look more like the one on the right. So a couple of things that I wanted to point out, that I would point out as a marketing professional with the email on the right, and that's that you'll notice that the email has color, it has branding to it, it has the business logo on it, it has a clear call to action, right? So I know when I open this email what they want me to do, and that's visit their website. But you know, it goes far beyond just that, right? Because now you can look into the imagery, the photo that was being used, how their products were also displayed on the email. And it's formatted in a way that, in my mind, is digestible. It's in many ways a promotional flyer that I received in my email. And so the email on the right is really what we want you to do with your businesses and the way that we want you to promote your services and announcements. We want them to look like you. So what is email marketing? So if we take a little step back and just kind of look at the evolution of what email marketing is, you know, it's important for us to always revisit this so that we know how to manage our campaigns. So really, email marketing is an opportunity for you to deliver a professional looking email to an interested audience containing information that's valuable to them, right? So, you know, the emails need to be professionally looking, they need to be written well, they need to go to an audience that has given you permission to email them. And you're gonna hear me talk a lot about permission-based marketing and what that means. But also, you know, the information that you're sending to them should be relevant, or else, you know, you're missing a big opportunity here because people don't want to hear about things that they're not interested in. And, you know, last but not least, ensuring that those emails look good in the inbox. So you're going to hear from me a little bit about mobile marketing and what mobile has done to email marketing as well. And I know Alan has some examples for you later of the industry examples. So I'm just going to talk about 4 key points here, and this is what it looks like. We're going to talk about email marketing, the power of the inbox, the importance of growing a healthy list, what good content means, the importance of branding your emails to look like you, most importantly, how to get people to open those emails, right? And what are those emails, once they open them, what do those click-throughs say about your email? So we're going to give you just a brief overview of things to look out and things to keep in mind as you start your own campaigns. So this may come to as a surprise to some of you, but what do you think is the #1 app on people's cell phones? So this was actually a study done by a pretty important company, and we found that email marketing is the #1 app on your cell phone. So more than half of all emails are open on a mobile device. And you're going to see how this trend in mobile has changed the way that email marketing works. Another funny fact is that more people own a cell phone than they do a toothbrush, which is, you know, a little disturbing, but it's the truth. Okay, so why email, right? So that's a big question, you know, and the answer is because we have proven that email marketing works. So some quick statistics, you know, 88% of people check their email on their mobile devices more than social media or video. And if you're much like me, I unfortunately, wake up and my cell phone is sitting right next to me and it's the first thing I do. I hate to admit it, but it's true. It's how I live my life now, being, a professional on the go. 91% of people check their email daily. So, we know we all live on Facebook and we're constantly checking our friends' status, but at the same time, people are also checking their email throughout the entire day. You might catch people on the grocery line, right, as they're waiting to get checked out, looking on their phones. So, people are checking their emails. The other thing we found is that email is reliable. Now we're in a world in social media where you have to pay to play, right? So now a Facebook post, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to reach all of your audience members. In fact, only 2% of fans get those posts. And so with email, there's a 90% deliverability with email. And then probably the most important statistic that you're going to want to hear about as a small business owner with probably a really small budget to work with is that email brings a pretty large ROI. And so we found that for every dollar spent on email marketing, the average return on investment is about $44 per entrepreneur. So this is something for you to consider as you move on and start to think about your marketing campaigns and start to decide what avenues you're going to go through. Just understand that email has a really good return on investment. So we talked a little bit about this earlier on in the slide, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this, but basically we're just recapping why sending an email through a traditional platform like Yahoo or Gmail doesn't necessarily work when you're trying to promote your business or market your business. And so I think the most important thing that I'm going to highlight from this slide is that when you're BCCing someone without permission to send them an email, in many ways you're violating their privacy. And, we've now come to know that as a spam, right? So we're all familiar with spam. We get it all day long in our inboxes. And I just want you to think about how you feel when you get an unsolicited email from someone you never subscribed to. So think about how that makes that person feel and why you want to avoid being viewed as spam. So we talked about, a little bit, examples of why going through an email provider works. It's the ability to be able to brand these emails to look like you. It's going to give you the opportunity to manage your list. I know a lot of small business owners that use our product to manage their contacts. And it's also, we guarantee the delivery of your email when you send in masses. Okay, so I know I'm going to be short on time here, so I'm going to try to move rather quickly here. So one thing to remember, and this is something that I hear a lot from small business owners as I'm out in the field, is the number one thing that I hear is, it's great that I can grow my own list, but I'm a little bit embarrassed to ask people to join my mailing list. And so what I like to tell people is that if you don't ask, you're never going to know if they want to opt in. In fact, we learned that about 86% of small business owners don't even ask their customers to join their mailing list. And we found that when you do, over 60% of people say, yes, I'd love to join your mailing list. The thing to remember about this is that 10 years ago, when email marketing was new to the game, I think we were all very hesitant about handing our emails, and we were always questioning people about why would you want my email. Today, it's a common thing. People ask for emails to make reservations for restaurants. People may ask for your email to confirm that you received a shipment. So it's become a common thing amongst the professional world and in the business world to ask for email. So don't be shy about asking. And remember, take this online. Ask your Facebook followers to subscribe to your email list. Include your signature, include your link on your signature line, include it on your website. There's many, many ways where you could also ask for permission to receive their email. The important thing to remember is that you want to grow a healthy list. So I like to tell entrepreneurs and small business owners that I would much rather you have a list of 100 contacts than the list of 10,000 contacts that you maybe collected from like an unknown place that maybe didn't opt in to receive your email, because you're going to get more out of the 100, the people who are loyal to you, who told you directly that they want to hear from you. You're going to get more from them than you are from the larger group. So, you know, it's also important to give these folks a reason to join your mailing list. You know, incentivize them for being a loyal customer, for them returning as a customer. So, you know, in your industry, there's an opportunity for you to inform them of your new rates. Maybe you moved, maybe your business added more drivers. You know, this is an opportunity for you to make these sort of announcements, information that they're going to find relevant. So when it comes to content, here are the 4 things to remember. You have to be relevant. People aren't going to open your email if the information that's in that email isn't relevant to their needs. You know, figure out how much is enough information, right? So I'll have a very informative slide for you in a few minutes that just gives you that impression. You know, take questions or frequently asked questions into content. I'll have examples of that as well. And then don't forget that images are content too. So let's take a look at that. So 38% of people unsubscribe to newsletters that they find boring. So don't be boring. You know, we like to tell people, have fun with your newsletter, add some humor, you know, be light. Don't necessarily always feel like you need to promote your business. And in fact, we have an 80-20 rule that we like to tell people. You always want to be 80% informative, 20% promotional. So what that means is you want to be able to send them information about a news announcement, and at the same time, maybe at that bottom of the email, offer them a promotional discount. So you don't want to do the reverse. You don't want to start out the email by being salesy, or, you know, having them, you know, or having all of your campaigns be salesy. You want to have a balance. So how much is enough, right? That's a big question. And you'll be happy to learn that less is more. In recent years, email marketing has evolved, and it's evolved because people are now opening up their emails on their mobile devices. And so you want to make sure that you're developing emails that are easy to digest, and avoid doing long emails that are multiple pages long. So the key here is 3 pictures or less, or 3 paragraphs or less, with 20 lines of text or less, if you can. We did a study that showed that when you give people 1 action item or 1 click-through, you have a higher chance of getting them to click on it. I know that as a person, you know, I can digest 1 task at a time. You know, I can multitask, don't get me wrong, but I would prefer that you give me 1 thing to do now so that I can do it, as opposed to 5 things that I may forget about later. So keep this in mind when you're developing your campaigns, is that you want to create something that's easy for them to do, an action item that's easy for them to do right now. Again, so here's another idea, you know, for content, is turning questions into content. So one idea is, you know, you may get asked often, you know, how do I ensure my pipes won't burst this winter, right? So you can turn that into content, 5 ways to protect your pipes from freezing this winter. So these are just simple ways that you could take a question that you're getting asked and turn it into an article or a news announcement or a promotional email that's going to get that answer to the masses. Again, images are content too. So 90% of information is processed by the brain is in visual content. All right, let me check the time here because I may be running out of time. So let's talk about carrying over your brand into email. So it's important for you to, for people to recognize who the sender is. And the quickest way to do that is through your logo, right? And for people to recognize your color and your branding. So make sure that you're carrying over, you know, so here, for example, you know, this is the website, right? And they've formatted the email to look just like their website, and also just like their Facebook page. you're carrying everything through. It's consistency. So we like to say that consistency is king. So how do I get people to open up my email, right? So if you follow these 4 simple rules or these 4 simple best practices, I ensure that you're going to find much more success rates because of this. So the number one thing the number one reason why someone decides to open up an email is because they recognize the sender. So if you, for example, if I own a barbershop, for example, and the barbershop is called, Manny's Barbershop, are people going to recognize the company, or are they going to recognize Israel as somebody who works at Manny's Barbershop? So keep that in mind, how you want to represent yourself and brand yourself through email. The second thing is the subject line telling me enough about what the email has, and is it worth reading? Timing is obviously good, so the time that you send that email is always critical. And then the last thing, which is so important, is how easy is it for me to share this email with my other friends? Okay, so let's take a look here. So more than 1/3 of people open an email based on the subject line. So that's a lot, right? So make that subject line worth reading. Identify a purpose, be clear, be clever. The thing that I will have you remember about this is we call this the 2-2-2 rule, right? So you've got the 2 seconds, and it's the first 2 words of that subject line that's going to get that person to open up that email today. So just remember that 2-2-2 rule, right? 2 seconds, the first 2 words to get people to do an action today. And then always avoid these words. So we have in Constant Contact, you can actually, once you type out your subject line, you can actually go through our filters and find out how, what that email would rate in terms of spam. And we'll tell you, your email is 80% likely to get spam because of, and then we'll recognize some of those words. So to avoid that, here are just some of the words that you want to avoid: free, fast, act now, urgent, that sort of thing. So when is the best time to send an email? So I did a quick search for the transportation industry, and for you, it's actually 5 a.m. on Monday. So this would be like when you would want to send your emails. This is just based on industry and thousands of emails that our customers have sent. We've compiled that data to tell you when is the best time to send an email. Now, there is a feature in Constant Contact that now takes your last 5 emails, and it does, it calculates the average open rate or when it was opened. And so now we have the opportunity to give you a suggestion of when to send an email based on your historical open rates. So that's something really cool, and we take a lot of pride in that because it's helpful for people. All right, so when it comes to social media, right? So we want to make sure that your emails, if these are emails promoting your new hours or the fact that your business has expanded, we want to make sure that these emails are social friendly. So what does this mean? Essentially what this means is that this icon that you see at the top, right, this social share bar, which we call, it's going to allow me, Israel, as the recipient of this email from Bisq Imports, to share this email with my social media followers, okay? So there's a difference between this bar and this bar. This bar is, these icons are links to your business Facebook page, Instagram, and Pinterest, right? So if I wanted to follow Bisq Imports, I would click on Facebook and it would send me to their Facebook page so that I can like it. The difference with this one is that if I click Facebook, it's actually going to pre-draft a post to go to my feed. So we found that when people do this, when they allow for the emails to be social friendly, it increases their click-through rates by 158%. It's huge. I mean, think about it. The average person, the average Facebook user has about 200 friends. So if I shared that, to my 200 friends, just think about the impact. Okay. So one other feature that I want to show you about Constant Contact is that we also allow you to pre-draft your promotions directly from our portal. So I could share my newsletter and schedule it out to go out, at different times of the month. This is going to allow for your email to have a longer longevity and to get more out of it. Okay, and I'm just going to take 2 more minutes to go over the tracking and what that means.
I'll take that. I want to talk about the that with regard to Wayne.
Okay, perfect. So then I'll go ahead and skip that. Okay, so since you're going to be talking about that, let me just kind of leave you with this. So this is the recipe for what we call a successful email. So keep in mind the single column template. This is going to allow for the column to be visible and readable from a mobile device. Keep images to fewer than 3. Keep text to 20 lines or less, and no more than 3 to 5 links. So remember, what is the number one action you want them to do, and highlight that. And most importantly, keep that action above the scroll line. We became familiar with the term above the fold line, which was very common with newspapers. And now we call that above the scroll line for email. Okay, so Alan, this is just, I'm leaving them with a look at what an ideal email looks like. And then, I can go ahead and share this PowerPoint template with you, Alan, if you want to share this with the audience members afterwards.
Okay.
And with that, I thank you for your time. And Alan, Wayne, thank you again for having me.
Thanks, Israel.
Thank you, Israel.
Let's see here. Let me go back to my screen and kind of finish off our what Israel was saying. Like, he gave us great detailed information about Constant Contact, and this is kind of what I do for Wayne. It is what I do for Wayne, but I wanted to bring it around to how we use it in the transportation, specifically for NTA. Just once again, my name is Alan Armijo. My company is Tech International. We do website development and email marketing services. So as Wayne mentioned, I've been working with him a long time. But as you can see, Constant Contact or email marketing is one marketing tool in a business that it's very effective, but as you know, it's not the only one. But what we've got here on this chart is a indication that your website is the hub of your marketing wheel, because you can bring email marketing to your website, which contains all the information about your business, and that's something you should be able to control. But nowadays, like if you go at the 12 o'clock, from 12 o'clock going clockwise, you have mobile marketing. People are looking at information on their phones and tablets, social media, video marketing, AdWords, email marketing, custom cloud apps, relationship marketing, word of mouth, referrals, and print marketing. So there's multiple ways of marketing your business, but they all should go to your website, and your website should be able to get back to those marketing tools. In Wayne's case, in NTA's case, we're able to help them with several of these marketing tools and outsource print marketing and design, relationship marketing, on top of the regular nuts and bolts of like email marketing or AdWords, because it's very difficult for one to manage all of these, marketing needs and run their business on top of that. So luckily, we're overwhelming Wayne with leads and let him do the leads, because we don't process loans. We don't deal with the occupational accident insurance. That's Wayne's forte, and especially in transportation with all the regulations, we need to free up Wayne to do that and help him out. And that's kind of what we do. So the email marketing is a big one, but your website is super huge in the sense that that is where all the information for the clients is for the clients to see is located. So as we said, we've been doing this for several years for Wayne, creating easy to read professional emails. And but nowadays, as Israel said, the ability to have that email readable, optimized on a smartphone is huge, because in the transportation world, we're seeing 60% open rates on mobile devices. Okay, so people have to be able to see what they're what you're sending them on a small screen, and I'll show you some stats on that in a second. But to simplify things with all the information that we're providing you, it's this simple: is that everything should be a direct line to your website when it comes to your email. So, for instance, your email might look like this. As Israel said, keep it short and simple, and that's read entire article, takes them to a blog article on the website that has the entire article. It could be 50 pages. You're not going to put 50 pages on an email, but you're getting them to the website and the main content. From there, they can see other products and services that you offer. Another direct line example back to your website is like if you have an event. Your email is the announcement, and the event, like here in this case, we have a free webinar, what you're on, but you don't register here, you register on the website or an event page. So it's a direct line from the email to the event page. And then another example would be an email to a service, and this is where probably the most important part for return on investment is that your direct line is the email announcement of like a new product or services. Like in this case, Wayne is offering an easy line of credit program for trucking, the trucking industry. But he's not giving all the details on the email. He's taking you to the website where all the details are. This is just a snapshot of that, but you know, you would have to get into the meat of what this offer is about. And the only way to really do that is on the website. So as you're seeing with email marketing, your ability to quickly send out to your permission-based list and get them back to your website to get the product or service and then take action. Valuable information for them and return on investment for you. So this is a snapshot of the reports and analytics that you get to prove what you're doing is working. The top one on 3/18, we send out 73,000 emails. It tells you how many people opened it and how many people clicked through to the website, percentages and numbers. But on all of these three, if you look at the percentage of desktop users versus mobile app users, kind of proves that in the transportation business, you have to have optimized email and website so that, you know, people on the go, they're not going to necessarily be at their desk, and they're mobile, and they have to be able to read the information. 60% is high. That's a very large number of people who are looking at Wayne's content on a mobile device. But Wayne, you know, we're covered. Their emails are optimized through Constant Contact, and we've optimized his website so when they see those articles on the phone, they're legible. So that's all I wanted to mention on how we work with Wayne, and hopefully you can apply that, or if you have any questions, we can help you apply that to your business. If you're interested in email marketing on a trial basis, they have a 60-day trial. You can go to bit.ly/NTA marketing and sign up there, or just contact me. I can help you get started. Constant Contact also has an offer of 30% off for the first 3 months, good through March 31st. I can help you with that as well, and through Wayne's Association. So once again, Tech International, we work with Wayne. We do websites, responsive design, mobile apps, custom apps, web portals, document management, big and small, for small business, nonprofits, corporate, and government. So for Israel and Wayne. Do you have anything to offer or add to close out?
I wanted to say one thing. Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. What I like about what Alan does for me on it's the blogs that we do. Okay, it automatically goes to Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, which is that's 3 new bunches of people. I mean, I've got about, I don't know, following maybe 5,000 on LinkedIn. I forgot, how many more on the others. But it's covering all the bases, not only the 73 or 74,000 people that were emailing, but all the people on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. It's just, and it's automatic. I don't have to do anything. That's the greatest thing about it. Alan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, we're just trying to make it easy for Wayne to get the word out. He has a huge, aggressive national list, and seems to be working, right, Wayne?
Yeah. It takes me about an hour every morning just to answer all the leads that come in.
Yeah. And Wayne's just doing it right. He's always adding names and following up. Luckily he has a lot of content, but it's all relative to his audience. And
well, one of the things, don't forget, that I have to do here is to keep up with all the rules and regulations and the changes that's going to affect everybody, not just in California, but all 48 states. So, I don't have a whole lot of time to waste. Everything's got to be, like snap, 1, 2, 3. So this is what I like about Constant Contact. It gets the job done quickly, and it is so cost effective. I cannot emphasize that enough. I am paying the maximum at Constant Contact, and it is still cheaper than what I used to pay at putting the antiquated way of mailing stuff out. And I'm catching 10 times the people, with less money, less than $400 a month, guys. This is pocket change. I spend that much at Costco, for crying out loud.
Right, and that number is just your case because you have such a big list. But most people, it's a very it's literally like it starts at $20 a month.
Well, yeah, that's what I started out with, at $20 a month, and as I've grown up to the maximum.
And from a business standpoint, you wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't providing you the return on investment. So the marketing, our help and expertise, Wayne's audience, and products and services are really what makes it work. And then the Constant Contact is a great tool and a great fit. I think, unless we have any questions, we thank everybody for their time today. And looking forward to more webinars and more detail on different things. Wayne has a host of services that we could talk about, but we just wanted to kick this one off on email marketing because it's relevant to everybody. Anything else, Wayne or Israel?
No, I'm fine, but if you have any questions, you can always, whether it's about email marketing or anything else that involves transportation. My email is very simple. It's wayne@ntassoc.com. So if you think of something after we close out here in a minute or so, just be my guest and let me send me an email.
Okay. Well, thank you, Israel. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
We have this recorded. We'll make it available as needed as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.